how to get a hero reviewed. Normally, I would review a hero on Tuesday. That is if we follow our schedule anyways, which we haven't done very well recently, but hey, we will definitely try. Anyways, every Tuesday I take heroes that you guys have sent in via sending into my ID, or through donations, or through free-to-play orbs on Twitch. Anyways, there's a bunch of ways that are free or monetary or whatever to get your heroes reviewed. We also have the Nimdom top 10 section in our Discord to send a hero in. So if you want to make Nimdom top 10. Anyways, there are several ways to get your hero on stream, but mostly I try and focus on it like one day of the week. Anyways, pretty simple. Pretty simple. Show up on stream, send your ID in, or through other methods, and then you'll be on. That is if I don't get too tired first. Sometimes these things go on for hours and I will die. Anna, 40 plus 8 plus 2. Oh boy. Why did you do that? Oh, I get it. But why? So if you guys didn't know, Ilyana is actually one of the more interesting heroes in the game. Prior to Makai's Refine, I dubbed her the best blue mage, general blue mage in the game. And I specifically mentioned her being better than Micaiah because as long as she doesn't fight armors or calves, and even if she does, she hits really hard. But as long as it's not armors or calves, she keeps up incredibly well. And if not, surpasses Micaiah in virtually everything. Well, she does surpass Micaiah in virtually in everything. But yeah, with the Refine, Micaiah keeps up now because she can auto double. But the thing with Ilyana is that she can double on her own. So by using Spooky Sensor, Speed Refine, and Fury 3, you've given up her amazing Larfox Tome, which is if you initiate combat, attack speed, defense, res -4 on foe during combat. But that said, Larfox doesn't work on Blazing Wind, and doesn't work defensively either. So I can understand when you go for Spooky Sensor Fury, just to try and make her dual phase and make the Blazing Wind even more powerful. So I understand it. It's just I don't think Ilyana needs this, because she hits so hard anyways. Ilyana can actually kill heroes in one shot without a special. She's that good. And you can technically do like Times Pulse and fast special builds. But she hits hard enough that she doesn't need Blazing Wind, I would say. Though it is interesting that you're trying it out. Speed Smoke is definitely not necessary, I would say, though. I would probably run Attack Smoke, because after the fight, she's done 12 damage to herself. So if there's any counterattack available, Attack Smoke probably keeps you alive the best. But yeah, I can see it. Fury 3 Special Spiral with Spooky Sensor is not bad. I would also consider just going Life and Death. That way you only lose 2 defense and 2 res. Well, actually technically 5, because you'll be replacing Fury. But that gives you a lot of more damage and speed, and that might benefit you more. Also, the 6 damage chip is kind of dangerous to yourself, so 12 damage chip, whereas 6 damage chip is probably more acceptable. So yeah, I would say consider Life and Death 3. Just for, but yeah, if you want to use her more defensively, Fury makes more sense. But if you're using her more offensively and you're noticing she's not getting attacked as often, Life and Death is probably better. And definitely switch to Attack Smoke to give her the best chance of surviving after the fact. But yeah, great Ilyana. I'm just so surprised you went for Blarfox. But if you're doubling down on the AoE build, Blarfox doesn't help there, so yeah, that makes sense. And I was just like, I saw something that shouldn't be there. She can use close foil, but she's not the best for it. And wow, this is not what I expected at all. Do you guys know something? It's actually kind of weird that people don't make more Mays. May and Lilina are actually incredibly similar. Incredibly similar. Their stat spreads are very, very similar. Like, everything's just 1 or 2 points off. That's it. And in terms of their tomes, now it's slightly different. They're both special refines. They're both essentially death blows, right? Let me double check. It's been a while since I saw one. Yeah. If you introduce combat, grants attack +6 during combat. They're both death blows, so technically they're virtually identical. However, May has a bit more of a support role, right? If you use a movement skill on her, attack speed +6 because it is attack speed link, whereas Lilina is chill res. It's just surprising because for heroes being so similar, you see tons of Lilinas, but you see almost no Mays. Which is weird because they're both the same rarity as well. With that said, May's actually really good. She's underrated. If you know how good Lilina is, May's basically the same thing. Basically, not quite the same. With that said, you removed her... wow, that's interesting. You removed her actual tome for Flora Guide, and you went for plus attack, May. 43 HP, 64 attack, 46 speed, 16 defense, 31 res. Flora Guide, drawback, glimmer, life and death 4, all speed, res 3, res smoke 3, and death blow 3. So when she initiates, she gets another 6 plus 6, and with all speed res, it's another 3. So 15 extra attack, 47 HP, 59 attack, 39 speed, 25 defense, 37 res. Oh, this is a goofy build. Wow. I like it. Death, drawback, Glacius 30 impact, desperation 3, rouse attack, defense 3, and brash assault 3. It's the legendary brash assault desperation build. We don't see these very often anymore. It's awkward on a range hero because sometimes they can't counterattack and then suddenly it doesn't work, right? So you're fighting like a super armored hero that doesn't have DC, then yeah, it doesn't really work too well. But with that said, you still have 39 speed, so if it's really that bad, you might just be able to normally double them anyways. I'm surprised to not go for speed, but it does make sense to go for attack when you're going to rely on the Brash Assault Desperation to trigger this. The only problem is your defense might be too high, right? Because that gets you 31 defense, and then that gets you to 41 defense. To trigger this entire thing, you have to hit 50% HP and fight enemies that can counterattack. That's why you don't see Brash Assault Desperation very much anymore, if ever, because it just doesn't work very well. Instead of Glacies, I would probably run Bonfire. Well, it's more consistent if you run Iceberg, but I'd run Iceberg or Glacies. The entire idea in those situations. Well, actually, Glacies has more damage potential. I still run Iceberg, whatnot, because I don't think you need it. I think if you hit 59, 65 to 71 times 2 with a Glacies, or sorry, Iceberg or Bonfire, they're probably dead anyways. And yeah, it's basically a variation of Fury in her tome. Delphia is actually underrated. She's super good, but you gotta commit pretty hard here. Interesting build. Desperation Brash Assault definitely works. It's just it has so many inconsistencies that I can't suggest it. In a build like this, though, you're perfectly set up for it. I'm just worried you struggle to get to 50% HP. I would have honestly thought you would go for double Fury. You know, Fury 4 with Death is gonna hurt you, give you 10 damage back at the end of it, and if they hit you, yeah. The only worry I have is like, how do you get into Brash Assault? So maybe run Ardent Sacrifice as well. Yeah. Once this is set up, it's extremely powerful, but you might struggle to set it up. Eddie. Oh wow. I wish Eddie Morno was still here so I can tell him how much of a dick he is. Imagine saving 1,000 orbs for Dimitri and getting 11 of these losers and no Dimitri. Oh. Oh my god. I really wish he was here. Guys, remind me to ask Eddie if we ever see him again. This man actually tried to get legendary Dimitri to +10, instead got it 11 of Chroms. I would argue personally that Chrom is better than Dimitri. Right? In general play, Chrom is better. To change fate is just so stupidly broken. Effectiveness is against armors, no worry about debuffs, is super good. Dimitri is, of course, still top tier, but I think Chrom just edges him out slightly. And it's, again, to change phase just gives you so much flexibility in all modes. Ether rates defense, ether rates offense, when you can use him anyways because he's a water plus hero. Arena, all those modes to change fate just changes, literally will change your fate in those modes. With that said, only a dick goes plus speed on Chrom, and to be honest, speed Chroms are so stupid. Why are they stupid? So Sparrow, attacks +6, speed +7, lull speed defense -3, join dry speed, why the heck not, and darting blow, sure. The reason why is Langrisser, effective against flying and armor foes, grants attack +3. If foe's HP is 100% at start combat, neutralizes penalties on unit and inflicts attack defense -6 on foe during combat. Makes you hit harder and makes it so much harder to kill Chrom. With essentially 36 res and 46 defense, you can see why it's so hard to get the kill on him. And then if you suddenly cannot double him or cannot counterattack and double him, if he survives, and especially if he gets 2 shots off, not much survives that, because his actual attack is 70, 76, 79, 79 attack, and you can't be buffing for defense. He will kill you. And of course, the best heroes that can take a hero like this would be armored, but then he does 1.5x damage, so he actually does more damage. So it's actually not possible to like deal with Chroms. Now you might be like, well, you have speed damage reduction builds, except for the fact, well, he's fast, so you're reducing little to no damage. So yes, if Eddie were still here, I would tell him absolutely that he's a dick, because this is such a dick build. 4 speed, 37 defense, 29 res. This is an interesting one because this setup is plus attack. Every setup we've seen thus far has been plus speed. While I do think plus speed is the best one in a build like this, with Spirit of Ass, Swap, Draconic Aura, Heavy Blade 4, Pegasus Flight, Joint Drive Attack, and Speed Wrestle. Spirit of Ass is probably going to be better. Oh boy, actually my one question is, how do you expect to use Pegasus Flight? See, Pegasus Flight can work even if your opponent outspeeds you by 7. So it goes up to 51 speed. The super fast heroes, you're not going to do this on them because they're just too damn fast. Now, the more moderate heroes, sure. But even then, how do you expect to use Pegasus Flight? Because Pegasus Flight is 50% of difference between res stats before combat. You got 29 res. How do you expect to use Pegasus Flight? Because Speed Wrestle doesn't work with Pegasus Flight. That's during combat, right? Speed plus Speed Res plus 6 during combat. Pegasus Flight is before combat. So this doesn't work. You have to out-res your opponent by 14 to get the maximum Pegasus Flight benefits. So at just 29, that implies you are looking for 15 res. You're not gonna find 15 res. Weird. Why did you try Pegasus Flight? By trying really hard. The real answer is, if you want to use Pegasus Flight, you not only have to like buff him for res, you also have to do Phantom Res Seal to use that Pegasus Flight. And I don't think it's worthwhile. Also, Draconic Aura is weird because I guess at 60 attack, 64 attack, 30% of 64 is what, 20? I guess that's a fine amount because that's technically higher than trying to use his defense. But if you have Pegasus Flight, well, I guess so. Pegasus Flight dropping their attack. Well, I don't even know if it'll work, but okay. Yeah, I would just switch Pegasus Flight out. I think you would prefer anything else. Yeah, I think you would just prefer anything else other than Pegasus Flight. Ooh. Yeah, man, that's it. Like, I would just switch that out. Dive Bomb is just... I was trying really hard to think of something other than Dive Bomb. The reality is Dive Bomb is just the best B skill by far for Seteth. He can get enough speed to make it work, and of course he can use Heavy Blade as well, but even a build like this, you get to 50 speed, 54 speed. That's more than good enough. Another good option is using Aerobags and Seal or Aerobags and Beak, which, because he wants to stay within 2 spaces, that helps you. Or Flower Formation? Things like that. Our army is so sad compared to theirs. I know, Len. That's why I'm just like, I'll just throw this tank out there. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah. Best Lancers for Pegasus Flight would be... What's that girl's name from the Telly series? One of Sonic bodyguards. Actually, both of them would... No, just one of them. 37 speed. Wow, 17 defense, 40 res. Blar Fox plus reposition Iceberg, straight impact. Top res, times pulse 3, Swift Sparrow 2. The only thing I say, you probably want to have Desperation. Now, I know Ilyana with sturdy impact now has 27 defense, and they can only hit once, but 27 defense is 27 defense. Is nothing spectacular. Ideally, with Blar Fox, with Swift Sparrow, you add another, what is that, 8 speed? You hit 45. I think if you had, I think you can do it. I think you can get a double on them, so, yeah. Here's the thing, like, I would probably run Desperation. Sabotage Res is really good. Ilyana can one-shot opponents, but you have to double down on one-shotting them. Like, Sturdy Impact, plus Attack, Death Blow. You can probably one-shot people because she hits so hard. Even in your current build with Sturdy Impact, Swift Sparrow, and Blar Fox, that's an additional 14 damage, so you're hitting a 65. And with Sabotage Res triggering as well, probably even the 72. You can one-shot Reds like that at least. But yeah, if you double down, go plus attack, and you jack up her attack, she can definitely wipe them out. By the way, everyone should make an Ilyana. This is one of the best blue mages in the game, and she's demoted now. Everyone can make her. So yeah, this is a good Ilyana. I would just say probably Desperation, and with Sturdy Impact, she'll definitely get into Desperation. But it's just to work for her longevity. Against mages and whatnot, she doesn't really care, because with Blar Fox, it effectively is 44 res. She hardly takes damage. Anyways, great Ilyana. Just switch her Beast Line, you got something really good. I really like Time's Pulse. That's a huge touch, because now the Iceberg is 2 cooldown. And yeah, you attack, they attack, and then you just Iceberg them.